Shut up and sit down.
Welcome into another Red Out podcast. I'm Jake.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Back in on week 2.
That's right, excited. Second episode. First one was a lot of fun. Got into a lot of good topics. Got into some hilarious shenanigans. So we're going to hit that again tonight. So kind of want to lay out what we're going to talk about tonight. So the first thing we're going to do is something we might start maybe on a semi-regular basis, talking about winners and losers. We're going to go from quickly hit the national scale, the national scene. We'll talk Conference USA, and then we'll talk kind of the in-state crew, at least the 3 biggest schools.
Well, and before everybody thinks, oh my God, this is like a ticker, this is either, oh my God, these guys did this, amazing win, or oh my God, they lost. How the heck did they do that? So before you think, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Yeah, we're not AP news coming out right now.
Oh, no, Lord, no. So
we're not accurate enough for that.
Oh, God, no, we're not anywhere. We do not claim to be experts in anything.
Nope.
My first big loser was FSU versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it was Tech, yeah.
Oh my gosh, was that hilarious or not?
I kind of feel bad for Willie, though, man.
I do feel bad for Willie because that's kind of the team he's been wanting to go to for so long.
Since ever, like his existence.
And then he goes in and lays a big goose egg on the opening game night against, were they number 20? Was that right?
I
think
don't know.
that was right.
If you want to look it up, it's funny because they were talking about the connection with Willie Taggart. SB Nation said FSU and Western were tied this week for the lowest scoring games. No, there were no shutouts this weekend over this last first weekend, but we tied for the lowest score at 3.
That's awesome. That's
right. Keeping the connection to Willie T still going.
We should have scored on that Wisconsin game. I am sorry. That was just ridiculous.
We'll definitely get to that. That was kind of sad. So for me, at the national level, the loser was Jim Harbaugh and his khakis. His khakis are higher scoring than his offense, and that's
Jim or John.
Jim, the coach of
Michigan.
Yes, the Michigan coach.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to look that up earlier because I was like, okay, it's not Jack. That's all I know.
John, yeah. John is at the
Ravens coach. Yes. And much less of a weird guy than Jim, with his hating his whole milk and don't eat chicken because it makes you weak. Yeah, he told a recruit that. He's like, don't eat chicken. It doesn't make you strong. It makes you weak. It makes you like a chicken. It's like, okay, bud. There's also the guy that will stay at recruits' houses overnight. Like he sleeps in bunk beds and stuff.
That's hilarious. That's stepbrother style.
It really is. You gonna put our beds together and make bunk beds? Yeah. Do we just become best friends? Yes.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he's definitely my loser because he was so good at Stanford. He had a pretty decent run at the Niners until Kaepernick bombed him. And he was supposed to be kind of the prodigal son, being good at Michigan. And he's been an utter failure. He's limped to a few wins. He's never made the playoff. Michigan is a storied program that ought to be really darn good at football.
Yes.
And it's just been mediocre. And honestly, if he doesn't turn in a good season this year, I think he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, I agree. I think Michigan is kind of the same boat as Kentucky basketball. And you either show up and show out, or you shove off.
Yeah, if you can't come in there and win championships, you do not deserve to be there.
Exactly. I agree completely. Yeah. I don't have any more. Tennessee losing and screwing up the SEC's perfect win for the first week is my loser, but...
Who was your national winner? Did we say that?
I did not give a national winner.
Oh, okay.
I guess my national winner would be Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech, yeah. It was beating up on poor old Willie T.
Yep.
My winner was the SEC West because they just came in and looked like the SEC used to look. Holy crap, you come in, you pound Miami, you pound Washington, who everybody thought was going to be, and may yet still be, a contender for the national championship, but golly, they got absolutely obliterated by Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC strength just shows through that first week, and I think one of the funny things is, I said Florida State. The headline here for FSU on ESPN is Taggart says that the Hokies faked injury to slow FSU down. Yeah, buddy, that's what caused you to lose 24-3.
So I do remember against Southern Miss in the first time that Western won the Conference USA Championship. I can't remember. I was a little intoxicated. I'm not going to lie to you.
So facts are optional.
Facts are, yeah. But we kept, I was the only one. Western was going on a drive, and every single play, because they didn't have any timeouts left.
Yeah.
one of their players would just drop. And so, okay, timeout. I was like, okay, we're like, oh man, he gets up, everybody claps, and the next one happens, and there's like less clapping, and then the third one happens, and it's ROM offense, we're just marching, and the third one, everybody's like, you what? This is not happening. Like, I know we're a bunch of convicts on defense, but like the offense is out there. Like, the receiver didn't tackle you. I'm sorry.
Now, I will say, I don't know for Brom or Petrino or any of those guys, but David Elson did have a play he used to call submarine, and what would happen is a receiver or a running back would go down with whenever the time's under a minute or whatever we need.
You got cramps,
and we need a timeout. They would go down and be like, "Oh," and hold their knee or whatever, and everybody just starts yelling at the ref that, "Oh, he's hurt, and trying to draw the timeout in case they didn't have one.
Yeah. So every team's got one. But,
everybody's got one.
But with the Taggart one, like, dude was just getting obliterated. It wasn't.
Nothing was going to help.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Dude.
Yeah,
nobody's going to help you there.
So what about your winners and losers in Conference USA?
Conference USA, I've got ODU as the big loser there. Who did they play? Fordham, is that right? No, Liberty Flames. Liberty Flames. Just so you know, I was thinking about this the other day. The Liberty Flames remind me of the team you picked on Madden.
Right, yeah, the generic team.
Yeah, the generic team that was like the Galaxy Flames. Wasn't that one of the teams?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, is that not the... I was like, that's
either
so
that
funny.
or like on NCAA, like 2014, when you like play and you got to schedule these FCS teams. I think Liberty Flames might have been one of them.
It may have been one. But congrats on it to the Liberty Flames.
Dude, they beat them by 42 points.
Another conference winner, I'll give them props, is Charlotte.
Yeah.
They beat whoever, I think that was a little FS, that's Fordham. That was Fordham. Yes. Okay. But hey, props to them for winning. Good for them, guys.
Yeah, because that coach, I think they're probably on the uptick as much as Charlotte football can be, because they have struggled mightily.
Oh, it's been a real struggle. Now, for me, this really changes that ODU game we were talking about last episode.
So what's interesting about that, if we want to talk, because like I was just talking about, I'm a nerd when it comes to analytics and numbers, and I was actually looking at the Sagarin ratings today. For those of you who don't know, Jeff Sagarin in USA Today does these crazy analytics where he takes into account God knows what, the moon, the tides, whatever.
Hurricane Katrina, yeah.
Right, and puts scores to teams and then ranks them. So ODU came in, I don't have the beginning of this season score, but they came in right around the middle of the pack. Everybody thought, okay, they'll be all right. Now, the only team in Conference USA who they have a higher Sagarin rating than is UTEP, who is probably not going to win a game this year.
Probably,
They dropped, like, I want to say 50-something in the S&P stats that everybody likes, Bill Connolly's stats.
Oh, wow.
It looked bad. Now, does that mean they're going to be absolute trash? Maybe not, but it is not a good way to start the season. Like,
no.
At all. And the crazy thing is, like, it's freaking Liberty, dude. Like, this is like when Western made the transition. Like, if an established Division I team that wasn't great but wasn't the worst had gotten beat by us early on, like in our first transitional period, during the, God knows, was it 26 losses
We beat Middle Tennessee our transition year.
Did we really?
Yes, we did. It was in an overtime win.
As per usual.
As per historian Devin here, I want to say, and that was kind of one of the things that really brought around the rivalry. That started the 100 Miles of Hate because...
In football, at least.
In football, because I think we went down there, and it was our first year, and I think Bobby Rainey scored the winning touchdown, and we rushed the field.
I have no idea. But
I think that's right.
But it would be that embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because this is a team who doesn't have actual scholarships, really. They play in it. They don't have a conference to play in because
they tried to go Sun Belt, and the Sun Belt won't let them.
Is the Sun Belt full, or just...
That's what I read earlier. I was doing some research on them, and I don't know if it's a location issue or what it is, but they're like, sorry, we're full.
They're in Virginia, and they are kind of an evangelical school. One of the articles I was reading, because I was trying to look at it, because it's just funny that ODU lost.
That is really the funniest thing.
That they are trying to be like an East Coast BYU, as far as like fandom, so like trying to get like a lot of your Southern Baptist, like evangelical people to follow them because they're a very religious school.
Yes.
Now, whether or not that actually translates to their players, probably not. But You never know. Maybe they're all good boys
Yeah.
going to church on Sunday. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they don't have a rape scandal, I mean,
Right,
everything should be fine. Yeah,
exactly, right? Or
Yeah.
like get drunk and punch a sign, or shoot airsoft guns.
Yeah,
or,
whatever.
Get
Whatever
pulled over
they
for
do.
drugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, ODU is for me also the biggest loser in Conference USA. The biggest winner for me is North friggin' Texas.
Yeah.
They put a hurting on a decent SMU team, and their quarterback looks legit.
Yeah.
Well, like he did last year. I mean, their offense was really good last year, but they look like the favorites to win the West and go for another Conference USA championship.
As far as I'm concerned, North Texas is the favorite out of the West. I think they're going to run into FAU again, and I think they're going to have problems again, but...
we'll see. FAU did not look good against Oklahoma, but it is Oklahoma.
It is Oklahoma. I mean, they were, number 7 or something?
They were ranked really pretty highly.
And speaking of Wisconsin, you don't deserve to be ranked. Top 10, I'm sorry.
I'm going to let the cake bake till week 3, but absolutely I thought that, and we had just talked about this before we turned the mic on, I honestly thought that Jonathan Taylor was going to be better.
I agree.
Rushing for more than 120 yards against a Division I team is good. Do not get me wrong.
No.
But I have to say that if he's going to be a Heisman candidate, if you're running for only 124 yards against Western, when you come up against the Notre Dames, when you come up against
Illinois, Michigan, Ohio
Illinois,
State.
Illinois, they'll probably have 150 rushing yards.
Yeah, they could easily. But still.
But when you come up against some of these actual teams, the Michigan States, the
Ohio
State, you're not going to rush for 100 yards. You're not going to rush for 70 yards if you have the same performance. Now, I will say they had some injuries, they had some other stuff, so I'm going to wait a week or two before I kind of disqualify them. But I think they absolutely, I haven't looked at the latest rankings this week, but they absolutely deserve to drop to
exactly.
At least 10.
Well, I mean, even the guys covering the game for ESPN, they were hyping up Jonathan Taylor, and I'm watching him, and I'm like,
last season he was
not doing anything.
Last season he was really, 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 really good, and I don't know if this season, if he hasn't gelled with the offensive line, or if that quarterback just wasn't consistent enough, because we saw he had issues throughout the game.
Hornbeck or Hornibrook or whatever his name is, he didn't impress me either. He's a good D1 quarterback, yes, and he'll probably make a good practice squad if he left right now for the league, but I'm just not impressed with him. I think he threw 250 yards, which is good, but at the same time, it's like, I just don't see what I need to see. The first touchdown that Wisconsin scored, which was way into the second quarter, was off of what we used to call a counter tray, and what they did was they pulled the guard and trapped the defensive end, and then they led with the tight end, and the tight end basically led into a linebacker, and that opened the hole for Taylor, and the dude's a strong enough runner. He had no defensive lineman to stop him, and he had no linebackers to stop him. As far as I'm concerned, that was kind of a linebacker goof on that play, but, it's all part of it.
Yeah, but what's interesting is, for us a lot of that type of player, if he's going to get Heisman contention, right, he needs to be transcendent.
Yes.
He needs to be the whatever he needs.
He's got to be a standout player, and he's got to carry Wisconsin. Honestly, I don't think he's got a snowball's chance, because I think Alabama's quarterback, what's his name?
Oh, Tua Tagovailoa. I can't say his last name. I'm not even going to try.
Tua T is going to do it.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, we know the best player on the best team wins. Even if it's not the best team even if it's the best player overall, the best player on the best team is going to win.
Well,
that's how the Heisman
Lamar
works.
did that year, and I don't think Louisville was necessarily
But those
the best.
numbers were stupidly transcendent.
Lamar was a freaking beast.
I'll admit his numbers and his numbers the second year, were not so his passing numbers were much better the second year. Now, granted, he still has no touch. If it's within 10 yards, everybody knows that's a bad shot. He can either throw it 90 yards or 50. He can bomb, but he's underneath crossing and stuff. He still needs a lot of work. But
I think Lamar's a good quarterback. I think he's a dual threat quarterback, and some teams locally have tried to do that.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
because I got to talk about it. But yeah, no, okay. So North Texas ODU, winner loser. What about in state? You want to start with U of L?
You go right ahead.
Okay, so U of L played Alabama, in case you weren't paying attention, and leading up to it, a couple U of L players talked a little smack.
And then they got smacked.
And they got smacked right down. Backhand, don't even talk to me. Oh my.
Okay, first off, as a coach, you have to go into the game thinking you're going to win.
I get it. You want your players to be hyped up.
Exactly.
In their little 19-year-old brains, they need to think, I'm invincible, I can take Alabama.
Exactly.
Fair enough. But that's locker room.
Yes.
That's not media days.
No, and Bobby Petrino, bless your heart, dude, you know you ain't going to win that game.
You know what's funny
You
is...
got to talk the talk, but...
He only said, we're going to win at, like, this big donor, like, pep rally. And there is a lot of room between, we're going to go out there and we think we got a shot versus we are going to win.
Yeah.
And, man... And Nick Saban even called them a bad team after the game. I don't know if he said that, but...
I didn't hear that.
Well, okay, so he didn't say Louisville sucks, but what he said was he was complaining, as usual, in a nearly flawless performance, that they had some penalties that sucked, and they did some... You know how he does.
Yeah.
It's like you win by 50, but he's picking.
Yeah,
Which is fine, because you have to keep your guys going. It's how you become Alabama. I do get it.
Exactly.
But it was funny because he said, well, you know, if it's a close game against a good team, then, you know, those things can hurt you, implying, like, it wasn't a close game, and they're not a good team. It's like, well, not comparatively, no.
I think Nick Saban is a really classy dude, except for a few handful of instances that...
Except for any time he talks to the media that's not
about
certain.
his quarterbacks, yes.
Which, by the way, that's a fair question.
It is a fair question.
Because you played two quarterbacks in the game when
Yes.
one of them is clearly Heisman NFL kind of quality, and one of them is a souped-up running back.
Yes. Now, granted, I'll give him enough rope to hang himself as far as he just came off the field, and he may have just had a... I don't know. I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, I didn't.
He could have came right off the field after a bad play or somebody screwed up or something happened that really just ticked him off, and she was just the next target. That could have happened.
But he does that against... If he is one of the worst when it comes to reporters, even reporters that, like, just slobber over him, he still is very dismissive. He's God's gift to the world. And part of that is an aura. Part of it is a theatrics, I think.
Yeah, it could be.
Because you've seen him smile. Like, you see him be a nice dude otherwise. Yeah. He just puts on this front that, I am Iron Man. I am, like, not going to give anything. Like, I'm not going to answer your questions because this is my domain.
Well,
and it discourages people from asking negative questions in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, well, and you're talking about him being an Iron Man and all that. Has he had anything to prove him wrong? As far
not
as
in college,
he's concerned,
no. Not in the college.
No, as far as his college career is concerned, he is the Messiah of Alabama football.
I mean, everybody's going to go, oh, Bear Bryant. No,
not now.
Shut up. Nick Saban is the greatest college coach of all time so far. Someone may surpass him in the future. I don't know. I won't be around to see it.
Records are meant to be broken, yes.
But as it currently stands, he is the best college coach ever to coach the game. I do not care what anybody says. I don't care.
Completely agree.
But yeah, so that my winner for in-state was, for Louisville, was one guy, Juwan Pass, threw for well over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks against a really good Alabama defense. I think if Western scored 14 points against Alabama, now granted, maybe a tier below U of L, maybe not this year, but yeah, he had some pretty decent stats against them, and when you're able to do that in the face of getting sacked like every other play, I think that's pretty good. For losers for U of L, literally everyone else, because they couldn't run the ball, they couldn't defend the run, they couldn't defend the pass, they couldn't protect Juwan Pass, they couldn't do anything. And I know that a lot of that is, it's Alabama, but like, you gotta be able to do something. You're a Power 5 program. You just came off a Heisman Trophy winner 2 years ago. You were in the college football playoff talk 2 years ago, and now you absolutely get run. Now, if you hadn't talked smack, maybe they would have took the foot off the gas a little bit, like Western, right? Yeah. Western scored a garbage time touchdown against them, 35-10, made it look better. Yeah. And the only thing Coach Saban was mad at was that Lane Kiffin can't coach. That was bad. Remember, I love that. That was not a discussion. That was ass chewing.
Yes.
That's my favorite. Like, yes. Western made a play that made Lane Kiffin get chewed out. That makes me so happy.
That probably led to him getting fired.
Probably.
Okay. And now as far as Kentucky goes, winner, I'm going to say Benny Snell. Before I know you're chuckling over there because you hate the Cats, but it's fine.
Don't hate the Cats, hate BBN. Totally different.
Okay, I'll go with it. Benny Snell was running 102 degree temperature before game.
Was he really? I didn't know that.
He was sick.
No, the kid's a machine.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I just hope they don't run him in the ground.
I do too.
That's what I'm scared of.
Now, positive note on that: Benny Snell, winner. AJ, I think his name's AJ Rose. Is
The
that
back,
right?
the number 2 running back. Yeah,
yes.
actually had some pretty decent runs.
They were roommates on the trip, and when he got up and saw Benny was basically heaving his guts up, he's like, "Okay, I need to be doing really good tonight."
Yeah.
So he did well. He stepped up. He did really well. Looks like Benny had the rushing yards leaders for that part of the game, but AJ Rose did good as well.
My winner was the defense.
Yes, the defense did awesome
Kentucky's
as well.
defense all offseason, everybody's talking about, besides the mistake in the quarterback evaluation, they were talking about how good the defense was going to be. You already knew your secondary was good.
Yes.
It was going to be that all the talk was defensive line, linebackers, like how good they were. And now granted, CMU is really bad. So like last year they went 8-4. They're projected to get 4 wins this year because their entire team graduated. Like 90% of their starters, or some stupid number, graduated. They are one of the worst teams in Division I athletics right now. So I'm hesitant to say, Kentucky's defense is going to be transcendent, but they couldn't pass against them, even though their quarterback was a 6'7" receiver last year, who only completed like 40% of his passes. But you could not do that against them, and they could not run the ball against you. So you hope that the defense could be stalwart this year. So that was my winner from the Kentucky game, was absolutely the defense.
Oh, I agree completely.
Because it looks legit.
Loser, I hate to call him a loser because it's his first D1 game, but Terry Wilson really struggled. I think now Jake's probably going to differ because he instead of calling him Terry Touchdown, he calls him Terry
Turnover.
There you go.
Terry Turnover. That's what he's going to be until he proves otherwise.
Now, the reason the coaches are playing him is he's a dual threat quarterback.
And they want somebody that can scramble so bad.
They need somebody who can scramble.
Well, I know when that left tackle went down, I know. But
yes. And as far as you're talking about the defense, you know they've got like a bunch of Eastern Kentucky dudes on that team, right? Cash Daniels is like a mean man from Eastern Kentucky.
Well, good. I'm glad.
That's not a joke.
I'm glad.
And he completely loves the role that Eastern Kentucky has got his picture on billboards out there. And I love it. Hey, I think it's great. I'd love to see it.
I'm absolutely with you. I like when in-state players get shots.
Exactly. I agree completely. Of course, Terry Wilson had 2 interceptions. Did he have a fumble he lost?
I think so.
I think he had 3 turnovers from what I've heard. Of course, Gunnar Hoke, he's more of your pocket-style quarterback. He's not a quick dude, but he's got... From my biggest complaint I've heard from KSR, which is the big propaganda machine in Lexington, is
Every
that Gunnar
team has to have
Hoke.
one.
Well, Gunnar Hoke has a Mike White mentality, meaning that he focuses on one receiver whenever he throws.
Yeah, you can't stare him
and
down.
You can't do that. I don't care how pretty she is running down the field. You gotta check your options.
You gotta look them off.
Exactly. You gotta get plenty of options.
You gotta look them off. Now, here's the funny thing about Terry Touchdown. Terry Touchdown is obviously the loser and Mark Stoops' ability to evaluate quarterbacks and get them to come to Kentucky. We know the SEC struggles to get quarterbacks, but for the love of God, I was listening to a dude the other day. He was like, was Mike Hartline the last decent quarterback that Kentucky's had? Mike Hartline was there when I was there.
Mike Hartline, well, he may
2009 through 11.
Well, Steven Johnson was decent.
No, Steven Johnson was a really, really good fullback.
Okay, but he could throw.
No, he passed for 7 yards or 30 yards against Vanderbilt. He could not throw. That was the problem.
Well, they're too smart. Vanderbilt's way too smart.
Kentucky has quarterbacks that can't throw. That's their problem. Look, you put Terry gets in. Okay, he's fast. Oh God, he's got a cannon. Oh my God, no, he doesn't. He cannot throw. He obviously can't run because he didn't have that many rushing yards. He had a QBR of 9.3.
Yeah,
how do you get a QBR?
That's because of the 2 interceptions.
I could take a crap that has a better QBR than 9.3.
Yeah.
And then Gunnar Hoke comes in, 55 seconds off the clock. The guy gets you a touchdown. He goes in at halftime, and you bring Terry back out, and then you go, okay, let's stop throwing the ball. Let's give the rock to Benny. He's doing, and the number 2 running back. Okay, now we get back into our offense that we're going to, which is what they're going to do. They do not need a quarterback to be a gunslinger. They need a quarterback like Steven Johnson, who's a game manager. But all offseason, all they did was talk about, and you listened, was how good this kid was going to be.
Yeah.
And it is a whiff. Now, game one.
I will hear. Now, I will.
Game one, give him a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get better, but it looks like an absolute whiff. I think Gunnar Hoke is your starter by week 4.
Well, I'll tell you this. From what I've heard, they think, and this is from their own words, that Terry Wilson should be on a short leash at Florida. they want to end the streak, and I don't blame them. The
Yeah,
streak is older than I am.
31 years is a pretty good run.
So,
and last year they just peed down their leg with that
gosh.
little snake tail thing.
Oh my gosh, that was so sad. And honestly, there was 2 wide receivers not covered, and that's the biggest thing Kentucky fans.
Well, it's just funny because the receivers like over there, and it's just like there's no one else out of the field.
No, nobody.
You don't call a timeout.
The coaches don't even notice.
They're just like
coaches
doing
have
this
no
arm
idea.
thing like, with their. It's like, oh my god.
Coaches had no idea.
Yeah.
But as far as Terry Wilson says, from what I've heard, Terry Wilson, they let him kind of have his own thing. And then in the second half, they were like, okay, that's too complicated for you. Let's simplify this, and then we'll do this. Basically.
Give it to Benny Snell. He's proper talent.
Benny Snell had 2 TDs, and A.J. Rose had 2 TDs.
Yeah, I mean...
And honestly, as long as Benny Snell gets over 125 yards a game, he's going to break the rushing record at Kentucky this year.
Doesn't he already own it?
No.
For, like, all time?
No. The rushing record is...
Or does he have for a season? Last year he broke it.
He's 1,300 yards away from the rushing record.
For, like, the overall rushing record.
For Kentucky, as far as I know.
Yeah, for Kentucky.
There was some dude that said it 100 years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, probably, when the forward pass was illegal.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk tops. So what were wins and losses with tops?
Okay, winners, losers. I'll do one, you do one. How about that?
All right.
My big winner would be the D-line. Okay?
Yep.
You had, first off, I'm sitting there watching the game, and as guilty as this sounds, I wasn't really paying that much attention. So every time I look up, White is at the ball.
Yeah, he is.
He's made the tackle, or he's right there at the tackle, and I'm like, dude, I'm loving this.
Mm-hmm.
And him being a defensive end, I was like, this is even more exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the D-line did awesome. The first touchdown came off of that counter tray play, so it kind of took him out of the play. The defense, the linebackers weren't there, but I was really tickled with the defense as far as Western goes. Now the score doesn't show that, but you got to think Western goes 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and the defense has gone 10 or 12 plays.
Yeah,
they're exhausted. And they're not getting breathers.
No, absolutely.
Well,
I mean, and scoring wise too, like holding them to 7, and after the first quarter, like I was pretty impressed with that. Now it got out of hand in the second, but then in the third, you hold them to 3, and in the fourth you hold them to 7. So if it wasn't for that breakdown, like at the kind of end of the first half, you're talking about 17 to 3, which looks a heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
And then you also talk about the 4 trips to the red zone for Wisconsin. So supposedly they've got one of the best sets of line, offensive and defensive, in the country. And again, that remains to be seen. It doesn't necessarily look that way right now. But 4 trips to the red zone. You got one that was just a mistaken play calling that Philly special. That might work, except for the guy that did that play at the Eagles is from Wisconsin. Okay, it's in their playbook. So not the.
Are you talking about the throwback?
Yeah, the throwback. That's a Wisconsin.
Okay.
That was a Wisconsin.
I was like the Philly special.
That's what they're calling. That's what they were calling it.
Is it with cheese and steak?
It's with cheese and onions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was bad. Okay, fine. And then a few other play calling kind of spoofy things that happened in the red zone. Going 4 on 4, that sort of thing. Like Western could have hung 12.
Yeah.
And 12 to 34 looks a lot better than 3. It just does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you on that. I like the defense. For my winner, the defense was one of them. I'm going to say QBs, plural.
Okay.
Because Eccles showed that he could move. He showed some athleticism. He showed some calm, kind of under pressure, under the lights of Randall, which is a huge stadium with the jump around and all that. So he showed that he could actually, come in and start and be a viable quarterback in the system. But then when he went down in the fourth quarter with shoulder injury, which to all accounts he's fine, but when Shanley came in, he was not only fast. I mean, that little dude, he's like 6'1", 190. I say little, he's a lot bigger than I am, but he's fast.
Yes, he is.
And he absolutely had a laser of an arm. He made some decent passes.
Well, the sad part is, I'm not to interrupt, but your passing, Drew Eccles 15 of 26 for 167 yards, and Shanley is 2 of 3 for 14. And then you go down to rushing, and then there's quarterbacks there at the top. And I'm like, good God, Eccles was 9 carries, 38 yards. Shanley is 3 carries, 31 yards.
He had his first carry was a breakdown, kind of like scramble. He had and now he got licked at the end of it, but he was super fast. He got to the edge, and I'm really excited about Kavarius Thomas. I'm super excited about that kid. But Shanley might be, like, I don't know if he's better, but, you know, I'm hopeful against Maine we'll get to see a lot of them, maybe all 4 of them. But, man, he looks good.
Yeah. I'm pretty tickled. As far as the game goes, it's not the outcome we wanted, but, I mean, this stat right here kind of ticks me. Wisconsin never pulled their starter.
No.
Horny Brook, or whatever you want to call him, they never pulled him, and I'm like, why? Do you want him to get hurt doing something stupid? Why don't you just go ahead and pull him?
He got sacked 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, the D-line got to him 3 times, and Eccles never got sacked.
Did he have 1?
He may have had 1.
I think it was 1.
I'll give you 1.
We talked about that
yes.
before. I think they had 1 sack. But still. And
I'll take 1 sack.
Against Wisconsin.
Compared to last year?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
last year they'd have had 10 sacks. So, and it would have been like, ooh.
Fun stat for that. There were only like 12 sacks on our end that we caused last year. You get 25% of it in the first game against Wisconsin. That's pretty wild.
That's very wild.
That speaks volumes. My loser, I'm going to pick a loser for West. I know you don't want to say anything bad.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to say something bad because I was right. The receivers, but in general, Xavier Lane.
Okay.
Is a great player.
Yeah, he's a great player.
And I think if he ever cleans up being able to hold on to a ball that hits him in the hands, he's going to be an absolute stud. But until then, I'm going to keep talking about how the dude cannot catch a pass. There were at least 2 times on Wisconsin's end of the field where he, because he's a great athlete and a good player, gets separation against that DB, against the guy covering him, gets hit in the numbers or hit in the hands, and just drops the ball. And he's got nothing but green for 10 or 12 yards. He could have moved the sticks and kept the drive alive. We could have had like 6 chances at scoring. We ended up with 4 simply because the dude, among other guys, he wasn't the only one dropping passes, but he was the one that I said before was going to, and lo and behold, like I saw my buddy Jonathan, he goes, "Man, you're right about Lane. He can't catch a pass, can he?" No, he cannot. Now I think they'll clean it up in this game. I really do. Against Maine, but God, they better.
Yeah. And that's just practice. You know, you got to get out there early and stay after. And
but he's not
hit the jugs.
Like
no, but I'm saying he's got to hit. He's got to hit the jugs machine and just do crazy stuff. I mean, you know, have somebody stand beside you. You know, you do the jump around and catch it, whatever.
The thing with like smacking you when you're trying to catch the ball.
Yeah,
I
mean, and then you got Sloan. He had a 48-yard reception, which that was awesome.
That was good. Good. Well, that's what Chad Bishop shared a bunch of GIFs today on Twitter, so you should actually go check those out because there's like some really good breakdowns of the film. And one of the things he was talking about was how a lot of the defenses are going to have to creep up to cover the QB run, and and what we're going to have to do any better is to hit those kind of over the top plays when you've got kind of the creep down where they're expecting a QB run and it leaves some guys open over the top.
Exactly. And I agree completely and that's what the dual threat quarterback in Eccles is going to open up for us. If he gets to the outside, then he can decide, hey, I've got 10 yards here, I can go ahead and get the first, or, hey, I've got Lucky Jackson, I've got Sloan, I've got Jernigan, I've got, half these dudes, hey, I can throw over the top.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, this linebacker here has bit. We know he's going to
cornerback. Well, cornerback's got primary contain on that,
right? So maybe he's biting.
Yeah. So he's biting
a little bit.
Defensive end's biting.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I do love dual threat quarterbacks. I like traditional pocket passers better typically because it's just what I'm used to. But at the same time, especially at the college level, when you got a guy with some athleticism. You can do a lot, and he can throw. Yeah. You can do a lot more.
Well, and I was excited. I mean, watching the game, all of a sudden, Eccles takes off, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice.
White boy got some
I like this." And of course, the announcers start talking. Oh, well, Stanford are talking about doing the RPO, and I was like, "That's awesome. I love
good.
That. RPO, run pass option.
Yeah,
do it. I'm great. I'm fine with that.
I just want first downs.
Exactly. I'll go with the other loser. I'll bite. For me, it's the running backs.
Yep. That was my one too.
I love Ferbs. I love Trigg. These guys are doing good, but we got to have more, dude. When Trigg was the one that me and Jake were talking.
You kind of rode Trigg hard since last year because
Trigg.
He was supposed to be better than he is. He hasn't shown up yet,
and it's just frustrating for me because we're talking about O-line, D-line issues, and they hand off to Trigg, and all of a sudden he falls right at the line, and I'm like, well, there's no gain. That's great.
And you got to stay on your feet.
You got to get at least a yard
and
there,
the point
man.
with him and Furby both, I mean, they're the angry. You know, I always call Furby the angry bowling ball, right?
Yeah.
Like filled with hate. That's what some those guys, when they're built that way, hit.
Yeah.
Move forward. If you need 5 yards, I'll get you 3 yards. If
Yeah.
you need 2 yards, I'll get you 3 yards.
Yeah, but Trigg didn't even average a yard.
Yeah, I know. It was bad.
He had 4 carries, 3 yards.
I mean, what's sad is like
Ferbs had 3 carries, 11 yards.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about the younger guys, and we kind of said this in last week's show about how most of the. I mean, we firmly believe like, okay, so Josh Shane was a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Appleberry's a true freshman. Garland LaFrance is a true freshman. These are the guys. Moses, when he comes back, because he played so much last year, I think he burnt that shirt, so he's probably sophomore now.
Yeah, he's going to be sophomore.
But anyways, these are the guys, the young talent at running back. As much as I hate to say it, it's probably going to be the ones to carry the team this year if they develop it all, and I hope they do.
I hope they do. Samuel, like you were saying, I think Samuel's he's going to be a good number 2 for Moses when Moses comes back. As far as I can tell, Moses played too many games to get his red shirt. Because you got 4. You got 4 games.
Well, this year you have 4. Last year it was even less, I thought.
No, see, it's been 4 since. Well, when I was at Western, it was 4.
Okay.
And you could get your medical red shirt if you wanted,
or you
could do a red shirt.
There's some change this year. Maybe it's more games.
Maybe it is. I'm not sure.
But whatever. Yeah, he definitely played more than 4 games last year.
Yeah.
So he's thrown the shirt, but that's okay.
But he could redshirt this year.
Yeah,
I would be fine with that.
Especially if he takes the medical, like Dowdy did that one year. Like
yeah. Oh God, Dowdy.
Dowdy was there for 9,000 years.
Yes, Dowdy and Van Wilder. I swear.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Okay, so we kind of talked winners and losers. Let's look to Saturday. We've got the home opener.
Yes.
You've got a free Cage the Elephant concert to anybody with a ticket or a WKU ID. So if you're like me and they haven't changed the WKU ID in 1,300 years, you're definitely going to rock that bad boy to get in for free.
Yes, that's insider information for you guys, just so you know.
If you attended WKU between the years of like 2004 or 5 and today, the ID looks the same, and there's no Scanny McScannerston.
Yeah, they just look at your ID.
They just say, oh, you're good. Yeah. You put on 30 pounds, yeah, cool. That freshman 48, no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's going to be a Cage Elephant concert. They have the WKU football all-century team. So it's my understanding that like Jack Doyle and some of these other guys are going to be at the game. They're going to do like a ceremony. If you guys followed the off season, there was a bunch of voting to determine like kind of the all-century team for football because it's the 100th season.
Jack's got to be on there, I think.
Jack Doyle?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
He absolutely is. He's the tight end for sure. Like he's your starting tight end.
Well, okay, yeah.
Everybody got mad because there were a bunch of like newer players on there. They're like, what about the OVC team from that? It's like, yeah, but if you look at numbers and accomplishments, like I'm sorry, the last few years have had a lot more NFL players. Yeah, I mean there were definitely some dudes from the past on there. I just wasn't familiar with them.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, of course I haven't seen the voting sheet, but some of the dudes should be on there for sure. I mean, now my thing is, do you have Andrews? Do you have Bobby Rainey, or do you have somebody older? I don't even know.
I mean, I'll look it up.
That's good.
But yeah, so it's a home opener tonight. It's under the lights. I think it's on ESPN Plus, so you can at least watch it if you pay for that.
Yeah.
It ought to be a fun atmosphere. All the games at home are under the lights this year, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you giggling at?
I'm giggling at. I can't find the stats for the last game they played, which was on the 30th. August 30th, 18, they played UNH.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is that University of New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, so that's their big, that's like their big rival. They play for that musket, like we were talking about.
Okay, yeah, you were just telling me that, yeah.
They play for the musket. They hadn't beat them in like over a decade, like maybe 22 seasons or something.
Yeah. And
they had a super duper balanced attack. You had passing for 251 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, one of those I'll get to in a second. Your rushing total was about 203 yards with a couple of touchdowns. Very balanced. I've looked at their roster. Their offensive line's pretty good size. Their defense, they got D1 size. I have no idea about speed or talent, but they're definitely a decent size, at least at the 1. I don't know about their 2s and 3s if they are. The quarterback, their starting quarterback, passed for almost 200 yards, 199. Their tight end, they have a tight end / QB.
Cool.
Who they bring in for special packages, and it must be special package.
It's got to be a Wildcat package or something.
Or some trick play with the tossback, because it's a 52-yard pass for a touchdown from one guy.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm thinking it was one of those, like the Philly special or some of the Brawl era trick plays, where you have a misdirection and you toss back.
Yeah.
So got to be on the lookout for that. So I don't think, and they scored, like, what was it, 45 points?
35-7.
35-7, right? Against a team who is ranked now, albeit in the FCS.
But don't take anything from that, because at the same time, Liberty Flames, who are transitioning, just beat ODU. So we don't need to take Maine for granted.
Well,
They've
not only
got
that,
really good water up there. They've got more black bears than black people. Apparently they've got a gun now, so we are in trouble. Of course, he's coming to Kentucky, so you got to understand we got more than muskets down here, dudes.
Yeah, right. There's not a lot of firearms up in the Northeast. Not really.
But as far as I can tell, I think we should do fairly well. I don't think it's going to be a close game.
No, I have a prediction if we want to talk about it.
You go right ahead. Let's hear your prediction.
So I think, well, let me talk about kind of keys that I want to, or not keys to the game really, because that's like hokey, but like things I want to see is getting the run game established in this. Like seriously, let's run against this team because we should have a size advantage up front. 2, clean up the drop passes. This is the game where you do it.
Yeah.
You clean up your drop passes. And then 3, I want to see the defense continue to just nom their quarterback. Like just take his cookies. That's what I want to see. I think my prediction, I still don't think the offense is going to be firing on all cylinders. I think it is probably like 28-10 or 28-17 WKU winning.
Okay, 28 biggins. That's not bad.
Yeah. And I found the all-century team we can talk about in a second.
Okay. My prediction is I'm going to say 35-14. Like you said, I want to see our receivers run crisp routes. I want to see them outrun the secondary.
Yeah.
I want to see this. I want to see Eccles have just an amazing game and just look like a superstar.
This is your tune-up going into Louisville. Because
Exactly.
they don't look like world beaters. You tune up in this one. They're going to tune up against Indiana State.
Yeah.
And then play under the lights at Cardinal Stadium next week.
Yeah, I think so. Now, Louisville, Western, I'd like to see a close game. But I don't know necessarily if it's going to be I'm hoping not for a blowout.
Yeah, if it's a blowout, something bad has happened. I think they were going to sling the ball quite a bit. Juwan Pass is a very good quarterback. I don't know if they'll be able to run. I mean, Wisconsin was able to have some success running with like a Heisman Trophy contender. U of L does now. Whether he is that after the middle of the season, we don't know. But Louisville does not have that. They do not have strong running backs. Their offensive line has been suspect for the last 3 years.
Historically, though, running backs are not Heisman winners. They can be candidates all day.
Yeah, you get a lot of quarterbacks.
Historically, quarterbacks are going to be your Heisman winners.
Yeah, but it's again, best player on the best team is typically how it goes.
That's
normally how it goes.
I'll give you that.
I did find, so we got the prediction, just real quick on the all-century team. So offense, quarterback was Brandon Dowdy. People were real mad about that.
Oh, really?
Your running back is Bobby Rainey, and then an older fella, Dickie Moore. Tight end, Jack Doyle, we all know that.
Yeah.
Your wide receivers, a good mix. You got Taywan Taylor, we all knew that.
Yeah.
Porter Williams, very good player.
He's an older player, yeah.
You got from the 70s. And Nick Norris, your O-line, Forrest Lamp, he was also a captain of the team. He's the offensive captain for the all-century team. And then the offensive line actually has a lot of older guys. So you've got, besides Forrest Lamp, Buster Ashley, Chris Price, David Carter, and Jim Yogi Harden from 1955 to 1958. This article doesn't have the defensive
all-conference team,
or
all-century team.
But yeah, the defense I remember specifically being up. Here we go.
Dowdy is a surprise for me. Dowdy was great. Don't get me wrong. Of course, Dowdy was there for 100 years too, so I guess that counts as the century mark. But
I mean, he's the record holder, so I mean,
you got to give it to the record holder in that instance.
So all-century defensive line, and this is what I was talking about. These are guys for most of them from way back. So Lawrence Brame from the 60s and 70s. Josh Bushong from 1971 to 74. Tim Ford, who's pretty famous on the Hill. Quintera Smith, who you probably know, because he's from there from 9 to 12. Linebackers were Sherrard Coates, who I have no idea who that is. Paul Gray, Rick Green, Dale Lindsey.
Dale Lindsey, I do know that.
Yeah, and then Green is also a pretty famous name. And then defensive backs, you got Virgil Livers, Jim Burt, Joseph Jefferson, and Mel Mitchell. And none of these guys save
Virgil Livers is he's a big famous dude too. He was on the track team, I do believe.
Yeah, I mean, besides Quintera Smith?
It's Q Smith.
Q Smith. He's
his signature's on my banner up there. So
Devin's got this awesome banner that he stole from whatever game.
It's not stealing. They're just going to throw it away.
Right, exactly. You found it, you walk away.
It was at Middle Tennessee, first or second time I was leaving Western.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of the dudes. I just put a note on the board right before we left and said, "Hey, would you guys please sign this?" And so I've got several dude signatures, and that's what we were talking about last time before we went on the air.
Yeah, you got Q Smith, you got Jack
Q
Doyle,
Smith.
which is pretty cool.
Those two are the big names that have been in the league. I've got Bobby Rainey on another one. I've got the other one downstairs from the first time I was going to leave. Ryan Beard is on here. He's a coach at Louisville now.
Yep.
And of course, I've got Wes Jeffries, which probably nobody really knows who he is. He's a really good guy. Nick Bosch is another good guy.
But it's pretty cool, like to have all the stuff.
To have these dudes, kind of it's kind of like a yearbook thing for me.
It really is. Yeah, it really is.
Fun story for you, Nick Bosch. Me and him started this god awful tradition before every game. He would spit his gum into my hand. Yeah, that was the worst tradition, and
that's pretty bad.
So wanted to get out of that.
Devin, come here. I can spit my gum.
Yeah, basically, he's like, "Hey, Dev, come here," and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I got gum. I need you to take it." That's like the first one. Then after that, it's like, "Hey, Dev, come here." No, not again. And
you can't break the streak, man.
No, yeah, it's good luck, man. It's good luck. No, it's not.
You spitting on me is not good luck. That's not okay. All right, so we've gotten kind of through the sports, so we're going to kind of do the silly thing. We're going to rank some stuff again related to Western. We thought this time, instead of places to dookie, we've already done that one. We're not going to do places to vomit or pee, at least not yet. So we were going to talk about kind of like super easy / joke classes that you can take.
That we have taken.
Right. We didn't want to do like just made up ones or like things we heard about.
We didn't want to do like North Carolina's African American Studies or anything like
ones.
that. Yeah.
That you didn't actually take.
But you may have went to the class, but you didn't do anything.
Exactly. Though in some of these, it's pretty cool.
For me, my first joke class was jogging.
Yeah,
I do not remember.
That.
I don't remember the teacher, and I don't plan on naming teachers in this.
Yeah, me neither.
But basically, you jog, and as long as you get above a certain, the final was doing 1.5 miles under a certain time limit, and at the time I did it. So there you go.
Yeah, that's it. You have to just it's not a complicated class. Just jog in a circle.
Just run.
Just
pretend you're being chased, and then just run.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you do yours.
My first one was Astronomy 104. I won't say the teacher, but it was up there in North Wing, and actually it was in the center part. It wasn't in the old North Wing. It was in the center part of the building. Astronomy 104, like solar system. You literally could go to sleep. The reason I took it was because I heard the professor was a crazy man and he was like fun to listen to, and he was like he kind of looks like Rick from Rick and Morty, to be honest with you. Now I'm thinking about it, except he wasn't drunk all the time. He was just like really excited. And then the other reason I took it was because if you've taken a college science class, you know that some of them have labs. In order to graduate at Western, at least used to, you had to have a science with a lab. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to go to like an extra thing and stuff. So this one, the lab was like in-class assignments. I know one time I stupidly drew phases of the moon, which I totally made up, like drew before class, and then something else, and it's literally you could take a nap every day because it was like 8 a.m., which was stupid. And you could I think I got like a B or an A or B, I don't remember. That was super duper easy.
My second one was Mountaineering and Leadership, which is the ROTC class at Western.
At least it was fun.
Okay, that class is the class that you see on campus where you rappel off the side of the parking structure.
Yeah, PS1, do they still do that?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
They may
either.
still do it. You also do...
Chime in if anybody knows. Tell us on Twitter if you know.
Yes, please, message us. But anyway, the another thing they do is you have marksmanship. Mm-hmm. You go under the parking PS1 to the police, campus police's shooting range, and you shoot airsoft guns at targets, and that's how you learn to shoot.
Not too bad.
And the leadership part is, it's fun, but it's not a difficult class.
Yeah. For me, my second one, this is kind of a weird one, English 300, which you don't usually think, an English 300 class, easy. But I took it at the Glasgow campus.
See,
now, if any of y'all have taken anything at the Glasgow campus, you know that it is essentially high school.
Yes,
it really is super easy. It's a lot of non-traditionals and, like, people like me that heard it was easy and didn't want to do anything, like, take it. And this lady was that insane. Like, you see a theme here? Like, she was absolutely... And I didn't take it because I knew she was a crazy person. I took it because freaking Kristen, a friend of
Yeah.
mine, told me it was a joke class and it
It
was very
is.
easy. And it was. I used papers from high school that I recycled for my senior year and got A's. She did not read them. But she used to go on these rants about just like stuff. She was a great big lady. She just sat in this chair and would just like talk at us for 50 minutes. And it was awesome.
That's so
It was so
funny,
fun. I have a notebook full of notes about just like insanity.
Yeah, okay. I will agree with you on the English 300, but I took it at Maine campus, and it was a joke there, too.
Good to know.
You had an entire semester to write 10 pages.
Oh, yeah, because you had to have, like, that was the thing, is you had to write, like, one paper kind of about your major. Like,
Yes.
that was the thing.
Another class that I took that, I did the first two like that when we talked about this, but the third one I took was philosophy, God, Good, and Evil.
Was that with Dr. Long?
It may have been.
Because he taught Old Testament, right? Or New Testament. He taught one of them.
I don't remember. But of course I took New Testament as well.
One of them was a good teacher. That's all I remember.
Yes. I cannot remember who
Yeah,
taught
I don't
those.
remember either.
Of course, mine was online.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But at the end of the semester, you had to turn in a 22-page paper, which was not difficult because, like, that's the class I learned to BS papers.
Yeah, because you just fluff it up.
Oh, you fluffed it. Oh,
Yeah.
I fluffed. It was just like, one time the Fire Nation attacked and, they
and
killed
everything
the
went
airbender.
bad.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's all I got there. But
My last one is, and I can't even remember, to be honest with you, I can't remember if I even got school credit for it or not, but it was like sort of a thing, was Model United Nations. Now, yes,
Nations.
so what this was it was a bunch of poli-sci nerds, and you'd all link up, and you would get you'd get assigned a country, right? And you
Okay.
could like bid for certain countries. Like we kept trying to get a pariah state, so like we kept trying to get like North Korea or Iran because you just get to like FSU stuff for a week. But you would go and like you would sit in these sessions and pretend to be delegates from these countries. Now, what we quickly found out was that our professor, who shall remain nameless, but who was an awesome professor, used it as an excuse to maybe go just hang out in a pub and drink beer. And so when we found, he'd pop into the sessions, you had to turn in a little page paper,
Yeah.
but he would just use, it was kind of like a little vacation for him in November, right? Like a pre-Thanksgiving vacation to go to Chicago, right? You stay in this nice hotel,
Yeah.
there's a bar down, there's a little Irish pub around the corner, it's good stuff. Well, when we found out that that was the thing, and that you didn't have to really do stuff, that's what we did. We'd make gin and tonics and drink them in the morning and go to this thing drunk, and then we'd go around to the corner and meet the professor for, we did karaoke. It was
so funny.
Oh, dude, it was
That
great.
is
Like
so
just
funny.
getting drunk with your professor is like it's one of the weird things about college because you're like 22, and your professor doesn't care because it's legal.
Yes.
So he's just like, oh, hey, Jake's here, let's buy a beer. And it's just like, oh, man. And so that one, I can't remember if I think I only got like 1 credit hour or something for it. But it was an absolute blast, and it wasn't actually like anything. Like, you just show up.
Okay, so while we've been recording, have you seen this on the tailgating?
No, so where'd they move people? Where's the
Okay.
student? What's student tailgating?
I have no
click,
idea,
Click
dude.
back out and let's see. Barstool Western, who is one of the better barstools, by the way. Like,
Yes.
for our size of campus, they're awesome. They're the old Greek life guys.
Okay, so this is what they got. Tents, tables, and DJ provided. No
No
vehicles
vehicles
allowed.
allowed.
Big change from previous years. What you think? Great, acceptable, bad, trash.
Okay, so I'm trying to
Well,
figure out.
here's the top.
Well, I'm trying
This
to.
is up where y'all normally tailgated.
What they didn't do was they didn't.
Yeah, they kind of
include
clipped everything.
the color scheme. So I don't know yet. I'll have to look.
Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah,
on
let's see if we
Western.
can. Because
Let's
if
do
you,
this real
if you
quick.
guys don't know, okay, so over the course of the last decade, tailgating has changed tremendously. It's had some big ups and downs. So when Gary Bear was there for a little bit, they kind of toned it down because the students tore the heck out of the grass.
Yes.
And grass is expensive. Okay, so fair enough. But then, about my maybe sophomore, junior year, they brought tailgating back to its former glory, and they allowed the students to be in the valley. And that was ratchet as all get out,
Oh my
and
gosh,
it was
yes.
awesome. Like, you'd be walking, so we always park at the top of the hill. We get there early, park at the top of the hill or by Cherry, and just walk down, because you don't need a parking permit, you don't have to pay any money. And so you can hear this build of just dirty rap music and like bro country.
Yep.
And then you start to see the Greek flags waving and the top flags, and then the smell hits you, and it's like pee and beer and cheap perfume,
Yep.
and it's awesome. There's like a latex smell in there. You don't know what's going on behind the porta potty. Like, it's good stuff, right? And then you get to it, and it's just a crap show. Like, it's just awesome. Because it was so close, it encouraged people to actually show up to the game, Whereas last year, when Caboni came in, he kind of curtailed it, and he put it out on the south side of campus over by PFT and all that. And it was still okay, but it was so close to a lot of the off-campus housing, and it was so close to like the party scene. And they also kind of toned down, for better for worse, collegiate tailgating is about getting blitzed hammered. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
They don't really card you unless you're like actively belligerent and like have beer cans or like a liquor bottle in your hand. As long as you're drinking out of a Solo cup or a Gatorade bottle, they typically don't card you. Well, last year, the Sheriff's Department and the BGPD and they broke it down.
Yes.
And there was a lot of complaints about that. So I'm hopeful that once we figure this out, and we'll retweet and we'll share, we'll try to get some information and share that later. But hopefully they've moved it closer to campus. Now, if they have provided a DJ and tents and everything, now, I don't think this is going to be every game.
No.
I think this is a home opener thing because we're having Cage the Elephant, because we're trying to get butts in stands. Like, we know attendance is probably going to be down. But if they've at least moved the sections closer for students, I think that's a major win.
Okay, so let me read this because I can't find the map anywhere. Beginning with the Hilltoppers October 10th game with Florida International, vehicles will be limited to parking lots during tailgating. Campus lawns will remain available for tailgating, but vehicles will not be permitted on them. Fans using lawns for tailgating may set up as early as 8 a.m. on Saturday, and they may use pop-up tents, no longer stakes. Grills and coolers as before. Temporary parking areas will be provided for unloading all necessities.
Interesting.
Howard Bailey, Vice President for Student Affairs, said the increase in football attendance and tailgating has resulted in more vehicles on lawns, resulting in significant damage.
No, wait, is this a recent article? Look at that. No wonder. This is an ancient article.
Is that what it is?
9 and 10. That's why it's not there anymore.
Okay.
This was when they took it away the first time.
All right, well, what is he talking about then?
Well, I think it's a change. I just don't know where. So I've got game day information here.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Let's see what tailgating says. Tailgating parking map 2018. So let's see if we can find this. Okay, so this is the one. Let's look at the actual Barstool Western. Look, you did good, but can you share the legend for the map for those of us?
Those of us who are really wanting to know this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a reserve tailgating. Let's see, student tailgating area ST. So let's see where they've moved ST. Oh, now that's interesting.
Where's ST?
So they've moved it. That's Grice Hall.
Oh, really?
That's in the heart of campus.
Oh,
now,
wow.
I am all about this.
That's not bad.
Because you're talking about being near some of the dorms. You're talking about being behind Duck. You're right across the street from... Yes, absolutely. Now, let's look at some other stuff here.
That is kind of funny, though, that they kind of tucked it away, though.
Yeah, but what's interesting is I've always thought... So, like, I was walking by Potter Hall, the one I was like, man... If I could just tailgate right here, away from everybody, on this nice flat grass with all these trees.
Where the old football stadium used to be.
Right, wouldn't that be good? Oh, that's what they should do. They should put stuff near the colonnades.
Yeah, they should.
Oh, dude, that's Western, if you're listening.
That would be right there. Yeah,
yeah, right there. That would be great. So as we're like, this is such a radio thing. Like we're not. You can't see this, guys.
Yeah, you can't see.
You can go to WKUsports.com and you can find the tailgating map. Now, the regular tailgating. Let's see, free tailgating in parking lots. Let's see if that's changed at all. So Mimosa's still there. North Street, University Boulevard.
Basically all your older ones.
Yeah, basically that's all the same. What is Lot C? Free parking with shuttle service. You tailgate over there. Kentucky Street lot's still the same. Alumni Garage, all that's still the same. So our tailgating spot, like right over there, is still
Lot
good.
D, yeah.
That's still good. But yeah, they moved student to like right in front of Grice.
Okay, what is green and red for PS1?
So that's reserved parking, and then red
That's for HAF.
So that's half HAF and half free. So like HAF gets... In PS1, they get kind of preferred parking.
Yes.
For whatever the cost is, and it's like the first 3 floors.
Yeah.
Or like floor 1, floor 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the top floors are free.
Yeah, I got to deal with that.
So yeah, right. I used to work parking, so I know. But yeah, so this to kind of wrap up a little longer because we got that kind of like breaking news an hour ago. But of Barstool Western sharing the tailgating map. I think it looks good. I'm definitely interested to see what tailgating looks like in the middle of campus.
Yeah, I think, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as being right there on Avenue of Champions.
No, well, you don't have as many people getting run over.
You can hear them, but you can't see them unless you get over to that side.
You can't smell them.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm kind of tickled with it. I agree with the keeping the vehicles off stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you got all them all farmhouse and AGRs, big old dualies
Yes.
tearing stuff up. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, like rain and all that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I get it. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm clear, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, I think that's all we've got for this evening. Try to keep it, under an hour.
And we're right there at it.
We're right there. So, yeah, hope we get a win. Hope we get a good game. So, go Tops.
Yeah, check us out on iTunes. Subscribe.
And
Podbeam. Follow us on Twitter. You can donate on Podbeam if you feel inclined to. And like Jake said, go Tops.